Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. My vehicle today is a front-wheel drive car, the Ford Focus RS, and front-wheel drive has tended to quite seriously struggle when it comes to the A-class autocross. They tend to have quite a lot of power, and it's just too much for the front wheels to deal with, dealing with that power and the very tight, twisty course. Now, if any car can deal with it, the Focus RS probably stands a pretty damn good chance. It has 300 horsepower from standard, which is an awful lot going through the front wheels. It actually starts off, a kind of mid-ish C-class car as well. So I'm reckoning that if anything can deal with all of the power in A-class going to the front wheels, maybe it will be this. I do quite like the RS, actually. Pretty nice driving car, this one. We're going to have some nice 255s on the front. It's not too shabby. With eventually, there we go. If we can get them installed, with 255s on the rear as well. Okay, I'm hoping. Now, one difficulty we do have with the front-wheel drive cars is cold rear tyres in the opening few corners can be a little bit scary because they don't get up to temperature. So that's something to watch out for. We will, of course, be wanting all of the aero parts. That's I mean, that's a way of doing a wing. You can't say I've ever actually really seen that. Yeah. Normally it goes for, if the Forza Aero is going to add a wing on a hatchback at that sort of angle, it goes for the peculiar double spoiler. This one is kind of the generic spoiler, but mounted on the roof almost. Okay, well that's new. I need the downforce. I want the downforce. Again, that's going to be quite crucial, especially for they are opening a little bit. It will be very useful having that on there. It just looks rather amusing. Right, other handling parts. Let's get some brakes, some race suspension. Now, I don't know how much power we're going to get in this car. I don't remember what the Civic and the Mini had power-wise. This will probably be a little bit more powerful than them. Because it is going to be a heavier car. It's not going to be massively heavy, but it's going to be heavier than they were. So we may well be seeing... okay, no, I lied. Okay, ignore me. On all of that... oh, no, wait, never mind. As for some reason, I think I was building it to a B class. No, we will be seeing a fair amount of power. Yeah, because we've still got an entire class to go to make up with power. I will put the diff on because this is going to be a very important part of the vehicle. Now, I am hoping we're probably going to keep the engine the same. What engine swaps are there available? Turbo Rally, that would be mental, or the V8 that... I mean, you can go for the V8. I'm probably going to stick with the standard engine, though, for this. Yeah, Turbo Rally and front-wheel drive autocross is a recipe for hell. I'm pretty sure that is exactly what hell would be like, because that thing will not steer at all around the gate. So I think, yeah, we're going to stick with the standard. I'm actually surprised you can put the V8 in this, because then it would be a front-wheel drive V8. And then again, I guess the racing engine goes in the Volvo. The NASCAR engine goes in the Volvo 850, and that can still be a front-wheel drive NASCAR engine vehicle. Sure. No, we'll stick with the standard engine. I think we're going to get more than enough power out of this one. It's going to get quite a bit of torque as well. It's going to have more power and more torque than the RX-8 that went out last time. Yeah, I think we probably do want to go for that. It is going to be turbocharged. In fact, the turbo adds bugger all power. I guess it does have a pretty damn massive turbo to begin with, let's face it, on the RS Focus. We might have to go for camshafts, I think, for one, maybe two stages of camshafts, in fact, to get it up towards the top of the class. Hey, there we go. We can ball that out and get 27 more horsepower, or do we go for 17 more horsepower and try and get some weight out, or do we just go stick? I might just go stick 27 more, because we're not going to get a huge. Okay, no, we might do this and then try and get gearbox, flywheel, and all of those shenanigans in the car. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about gearbox on the most part. The gear ratio, certainly on these kind of cars, do tend to fare pretty well anyway, and the PI gain is coming from It says shift time, but that doesn't affect me because I run manual with clutch. So, yeah, bugger, this is going to be an arsey one, isn't it? It's going to be one of those that doesn't want to play. We're going to have to, I think, go for a clutch because I don't think we're going to... Oh, there we go. Okay, we can go for the clutch and then we can get that in. There is going to be some slight PI gain because the clutch and gearbox lose weight and whatnot, but yeah, okay. I think that is looking pretty good. That is a lot of power and torque, though, for the front wheels. 454 horsepower, 450 foot-pounds of torque is, yeah, a lot. Not quite the highest we've seen, but that is a hell of a lot going through the front wheels of the car. It reckons it'll do 0 to 60 about 5.5 seconds. I bet most of that is spent spinning the wheels. We might have some trouble getting it off the line. I'm hoping, though, through the corners, maybe, just maybe, the Focus can deal with all of this power. So, of course, to test out the Focus, I have brought it to the Hockenheim circuit, where it will get 3 runs through the Autocross course. Now, we're not really going to be worrying about our leader's time. The Renault 5's 205.2. I'm pretty sure is going to be safe from the Focus. Now, the fastest front-wheel drive car is the Cooper Works Mini with a 210.2, 5 seconds off that Renault 5. And that's probably going to be our biggest target with the Focus. Can we go quicker than the Mini, and can it embarrass any of the other cars? As I said, if anything can, this probably stands one of the best chances of being able to deploy all of the power and being able to hold it through the corners and whatnot. It's still asking a hell of a lot of the car, but let us see how it fares. Are we going to have, I mean, we are going to have manic understeer, well, especially on power understeer. Try and slow it down for these first corners. It may very much be a case of sort of, I was going to say slow into the corners and fast out the other side. I'm not 100% sure that that's necessarily going to work, because we're likely to spin, certainly the low-speed corners, we are likely to just spin the wheels. Tell you what, the acceleration, though, was impressive. While I couldn't maintain the speed through that first high-speed gate, we were about 104 miles an hour before we got to it, which is fast. Very fast, getting up to 100 miles an hour before you get to that gate. Now, we can't carry the speed. It's about 10 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour slower than the RX-8 through some of these gates. That's where we're going to hurt. We're going to hurt big time through there. Oh, maybe we can just about slow it down. It's not that bad, all things considered, but it is noticeable that I just can't carry the speed that the other vehicles had because of the understeer. Can we try and make up some time? And the front end does get turned very well into these corners. I mean, we can get out of that turn very, very well. I think we might have even got out of that very narrow section quicker than the RX-8, which is good going, because the RX-8 was good. We might be pretty good at the final sector on this lap as well. The brakes feel quite nice, although I wonder if that might be partly to do with the fact that I'm simply just not accelerating as fast. I can't put the power down as well out of the corner, so when we come to a braking zone, I'm going 5-6 miles an hour slower. Oh, I tried to get on the power and it just, nope, we're going straight again. Should have done better there. That was a bit of poor decision making, poor driving from me. Going to have to be very, very delicate with the throttle in this car if I am going to get it to stop spinning these front wheels, because they do really like to spin. It is nice through this final section, as I expected, but it's not quick on this opening run. 2:19.4 with one gate clipped. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of caution, I think, if I'm going to get the Focus any decent speed. On to our second run, and it is very much going to be a case of trying to limit the wheel spin with this car. If I'm going to get anything out of it, I'm going to have to, I think, be quite careful with this throttle. Of all the cars, this one here might be the one that I have to be the most careful with, and that includes even like the 900 horsepower, was it 900 horsepower, was it 700 horsepower? The ridiculously powerful limo was front-wheel drive, but that had absurdly long gears, so the fact that it was front-wheel drive wasn't actually that much of a problem. Well, we almost held 100 miles an hour coming to that gate. Now, that is... we've seen rear-wheel drive cars have issues doing that with losing the back end, considering this is 420-odd horsepower to the front wheels, about 450 torque, I think, as well, through the front wheels. To maintain 100 miles an hour through there is not bad going at all. We've just got to try and be, got to be ever so neat and tidy if you're going to want to get any time out of this. The long gears in the limo really helped it, and this does not have that luxury, so it's going to have to come down to me being uber careful. I think this would probably match some of the fastest cars acceleration-wise if I could put the power down. I really think it would. I mean, that was, what was it, about 116 miles an hour, and that was considering I had to have a lift and had to be really careful to not spin the front wheels up coming down that back straight. So, yeah, that goes to show just how impressively fast this thing can accelerate when you can deploy the power, and it's just so very difficult to deploy that power around here. It's quite nice through this part of the course. It's very nice actually getting it stopped and turned through there. You can deploy the power through the tunnel. Now, don't do the same stupid thing that I did last time and go on the throttle too soon and just understeer my way wide. That would not be a clever idea. Things are going much smoother this lap around. Don't clip any of the barrels. Now, kind of easily does it. Of course, I'm still wanting to use as much. Oh, that was a little bit unlucky. Oh, I looked at my rearview mirror as well. I don't think I clipped that gate. That was very close. It was a graze with a splitter. I got a couple. Couple of missed gates. Just threw it away at the end there. Otherwise, it was going pretty damn well. Yeah, just grazed that barrel. It barely moved with the splitter. It's definitely better if you are careful with the throttle. Still very tricky though. So, on to the final run for the Focus. And, well, if I can not clip any gates, that would be a good start. Perhaps one of the biggest things is going to be controlling the wheel spin. If we can stop the car from wheel spinning too much, if I can do a good job with that, we may be able to set a decent time. I don't know about record-shattering time, because as good as the Focus RS is, it is a bloody good front-wheel drive hot hatch. Even this is seriously struggling with this amount of power. It's very quick accelerating, and it does a half-decent job of actually putting the power down to accelerate in a straight line. It's trying to get it out of the corners and maintaining corner speed is where the Focus is struggling, and it's where you would expect it to be struggling with this much power going through the front wheels, and the front wheels having to try and do the turning for such a narrow course. It's not bad though, holding almost 70 miles an hour through there, and it is very nearly flat out through there. You just have to have a little tiny lift. I suspect if it wasn't for having to have a tiny lift and kind of almost the caution you have to take coming towards that section, I have no doubt this would go very fast in a straight line down there. 116 is not too bad at all, and considering the things that you have to do with this car, this is a mighty quick accelerating vehicle. In a straight line, it's the corners that it struggles with. Okay, now try and be neat and tidy around here. Not going to be worrying about oversteer. Rear tyres have heated up, so we're not going to be sliding our way through these corners. Again, it's 114 miles an hour before jumping on the brakes. Yeah, it's about 6 miles an hour down on the 911, but still, considering how fast that 911 was, this has got some mighty acceleration. Right, get it into the hairpin. That's about the only corner where the understeer comes in a little bit handy. You can just let it drift wide on its own through there, and it does the trick quite nicely. Get it turned into these final gates. Now, it does have a pretty good front end, this car. It's pretty good change of direction for this little section towards the line. The issue being is that I can't really maintain too much speed through these bits, but we are out of that now. Floor it towards the line. It's not enough. It's not enough from the Focus. It's just too much power, I think, in the car. It is a great vehicle. As I said, I like the Focus RS, but asking the front wheels to deal with 400 plus horsepower, 450 torque, and navigate a narrow autocross course, it's too much for the car to manage. It is quite drivable with it. I think it's probably one of the easiest to drive of the front-wheel drive cars. Certainly. However, kind of speed-wise, just so much time is lost through the gates that you just can't carry the same quarter speed. You know, compare it to the RX-8 that went out last time, that really could carry, especially at the medium speed corners. That thing could absolutely fly through them. Whereas with this, you can't quite do it. Acceleration-wise, once it has got the power down, yeah, this absolutely flies in a straight line. The Focus is really very quick, and I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. However, it's the corners that let it down. And, well, this is Autocross. Corners are quite important, and there's a lot of them to deal with. And the Focus, it simply isn't quite quick enough. And over the course of the lap, you lose a little bit per gate or per corner and so on, and it all adds up. So, yeah, the Focus is a fair way down the leaderboard. It does go slowest of the front-wheel drive cars. It goes into 44th spot. It's, 0.8 of a second down on the Honda Civic, a fair way down, 2.5 seconds down on the Cooper Works Mini. It's, yeah, just too brutally powerful, really, the Focus to get around here. And, you know, the problem is you take the weight, or you take the power out of the car, sorry, it's too much heavier than the likes of the Civic and the Cooper Works Mini. That's why it needs the power to get to the top of A-Class. It's, yeah, it's just too heavy, and the power, you just can't really use it. It's time. Does beat the Range Rover Sport, the Rolls-Royce Wraith, the Fiat 8V. It is 0.4 of a second down on the Mercedes Grand Prix car, and does get beaten by the Jaguar Boat as well. Yeah, it's just not quite suited to this course. A surprisingly controllable vehicle, given everything, and a brutally fast vehicle for a front-wheel drive car, but not quite suited to autocross. Well, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.